Hi guys, good morning. Bullhorn Betty here. So here is a Reddit thread that I came across this morning. Let me know your thoughts about it. Here you go. Hey guys, Bullhorn Betty here. So I am perusing a Reddit thread, and this was very interesting to me because we have discussed this 911 call extensively and exhaustively. So I did want to go through it because we have discussed it. And here is a Reddit post that says, "What are some reasons as to why you would call friends over before calling 911?" And this person writes, "I feel like a lot of people are either finding this suspicious or rushing to judgment. I understand why people may react that way to this information, but could we take some time to really discuss why they may have called friends first? What would make you call your friends first in a situation like this?" So as you go on, it says, "I'm not sure. I also don't want to put the roommates in bad light. I think if it were to wake up and see a murder scene in my home, I'd call 911 immediately. I get they want close people to comfort them, but I also don't understand why they wouldn't call immediately. I feel like I wouldn't even be thinking of my friends outside of the home. I'd want safety ASAP. Who knows if the killer's still outside? What if he's still in the home? Why would they call friends over? Why they wait to call? We may never know." Now, with Hopeful Asparagus 35, I do believe we're going to find out, but I don't think we're going to find out for a very, very long time. I think it's going to be at the stage of trial, or if there's an affidavit of some sort that sheds light on this specific topic, or if they will finally release the 911 call related to this case, which, if you remember, the sheriff or the chief of police, for the Mascow Police Department, stated he was considering releasing that 911 tape and never did so. So, in the next one says, "How about this? How about they put themselves in a bad light by the way of their decision? And while I certainly intend to give everyone the benefit of the doubt, I mean, I'm on this sub after all. We all are pretty open-minded, or we wouldn't be here. But this culture of shame directed at anyone who questions these two, not you guys, of course, is too much. They opened the can of worms by their actions. What did they think was going to happen by calling friends over? Effing off another 2 hours before police are finally called. Still not by them. No. The chance that they are totally innocent bystanders who had no idea what was going on, just woke up to find whatever, and were therefore thrown into a state of hysteria, just helpless girls incapable of handling anything more than traumatizing than a cell at Forever 21, so fainted from the shock because of its 1930s, and both were carried to the salon where their housekeeper fanned them, applying cold press and feeding them barbiturates, cucumber sandwiches with the crust cut off, sipping daddy's gin, are implausible, improbable, and I'm inclined to think, along with the Mr. Toad's wild ride of events, that would all have to have occurred. If that were true, that is a statistical impossibility. No way. Not accusing them of being involved with the murder, although I think it's likely, but they are at very least were up to something." And I have to, in part, with present quantity 756, in part, do believe that there is something else there as to why they called friends over before calling 911. And I absolutely agree with a portion of this statement where they state that, they wake up, they call friends over. What would be the reason for them calling the friends over and not calling law enforcement for 2 hours after that? I do believe there is more there to that decision, but we don't know what, and probably won't know for a little minute. Steady and quick. This is a general article, but there has been written material associated with Greek system, often informally, to not call police first. This may transfer to a range of contexts or articles to stop group thinking as well. So steady and quick is basically stating that it's a unwritten rule that you don't call law enforcement on campus or off campus related to one of these things. But you're not talking about normal run-of-the-mill, drinking and using, substances and stuff like that. We're talking about 4 people being brutally murdered in a violent attack while they slept or while they were in bed. This goes far beyond this whole Greek system of not calling law enforcement. You've got bodies in the house. Law enforcement will have to be called. It still doesn't explain why people were called over to the house much longer before they called law enforcement. Getting incriminating illegal stuff out, syncing stories about what did and did not happen, figuring out what happened, irration, roommates drunk again, come over to get them, new roommates, your bro is on the floor, or maybe we're all supposed to meet there in the AM to hang out the next day. Good perspective. We didn't even think about that. Were those friends called over there, or did they just show up because of plans that they had already made? Great perspective. And that was from RITALG 7777. Turbulent Flower says, if I was guilty about something. That was their remark. And then another one says, well, allegedly the friends were called about 10 a.m., but police were not called until almost noon. So none of the scenarios I read here make sense to me. So there you go, guys, and that is an important factor. So there is rumors that these friends were actually physically called at 10 a.m., yet no one called law enforcement until close to noon. And when they did call, it was for an unconscious person. So there you go, guys. I just thought this was an interesting thread on Reddit and wanted to go over it with you. I'm interested in your thoughts. Please don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. And please provide me a comment below as to what you think this whole 911 call and the delay from the time they called their friends at 10 a.m., if they called their friends at 10 a.m., to the time that law enforcement was called, which was right before noon on November 13th, 2022. Don't forget to be fearless, folks. If you see something, say something. An ounce of prevention is worth a pound of cure. And until next time, be safe and kind to one another.